What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in with Callie. Please like, subscribe if you haven't already. So, there's a lot to unfold with the Clippers and Nuggets game. Shout out to the Nuggets. They got a big win last night on their home floor, won by 16, 131 to 115. And, as far as the Clippers, really that was... it really just looked like the Clippers were just tired. They looked like they were gassed. They looked like they had no energy. Looked like they just didn't have, much life left, like a lot of their soul was taken from that last game that they lost. And it just looked like they didn't have a lot. Kawhi, he damn near had a triple-double, which is, impressive. But, he didn't have the outing that, a lot of people thought he might have would have. He looked tired himself, lips chapped as hell. I don't know. He looked drained or something like that. I don't know really what was going on. And, Zubac had a great game. He had 27 points. He had a really good game. But my thing is, there again, James Harden can't end with 11 points. He literally got outscored by Bogdanovich. And he got outscored by Chris Dunn, who knocked down 3 big three-pointers right before the half, kind of cut the lead down a little bit that, that the Denver Nuggets had. Russell Westbrook was cooking, so it was really hard to stop their momentum. And then, you had Jamal Murray. He ended up dropping 40, which was a big game by him. Which you knew at some point Jamal Murray was going to have, a breakout game. He was really kind of sort of due for one, if we're being honest. So, shout out to him for that. But the Clippers all around just didn't look nowhere near the level of expectancy of what we know how they can be, how they can play. They didn't look nowhere near the Clippers team they look like in game, like the other games. They just didn't. They look lifeless. And I feel like Ty Lue didn't have this team ready to go the way he should also. And maybe the team just wasn't ready to go. Because, like I said, a game like that, it's tough to play in that altitude. It's tough to play up there in Denver. A lot of people know that. It's hard to win. But, you got to find a way. And the Clippers found a way once before. But the game they did win once before, it was because Kawhi, had one of the best most efficient games of his career. And that's just not something that the Clippers need to just 100% rely on, him having virtuoso games like that. Just to help you win. It should be a balanced attack. Now, I will say last night pretty much was a balanced attack for the most part because, really, like I said, Bogdanovich had 18. I think Chris Dunn had about 14 or 15. Zubac had 27. Kawhi had 20-plus points. Kawhi almost had a triple-double, like I said, which is, very productive, I would say. Maybe not the 30-plus point game we expect to have, but I don't know how much a 30-point-plus game would have mattered from him the way they were not defending last night. He could have had probably 40 points, and they might have still lost that game, honestly. Because think about it. He had 39 points in game 2, and they only won by 3. So it's like, even if he would have had another game like that last night, how much difference would it have made? Because you can't win when all your star players don't show up. You got to have a great balanced attack, or you got to have a crowd behind you like they did. Like Jokic didn't have the best of games, but Jamal Murray had 40. Russell Westbrook had 20 points at halftime. So that's about 60 points there. Jokic pitched in, just, passing the ball around and, doing what he does and being effective on the floor at times when he's needed. And plus, they were living off the crowd noise as well. So when you have all that going in your favor, well, it's a lot different. But when you're a road team, the away team, you have to figure out a way to balance your scoring and still keep that defensive mindset. And I don't think the Clippers had that. They came out flat again to me, kind of, sort of. And like I said, if James Harden is the system, as some people tell me, even some people close to me tell me, well, the system really isn't working because that's back-to-back games. He's had 11 points, under 15, under 20 points. And it's like, and that's the problem with James Harden. And that's the problem I said with the Clippers before. They're not going to win because James Harden has games where he peaks and he has games where he just is in the shadows somewhere. and he's nowhere to be found. And back-to-back games, you can't have 22 points in back-to-back playoff games if you're a superstar or a star caliber player. It's just no way possible. But he found a way to do that. And that's the reason why I've said before, I don't trust James Harden, and it'll be hard for this team to win anything if they can't trust him. Because honestly, we can sit here and talk about Kawhi all we want to, but he did damn near, he's one assist away from having a triple-double, even on a night like that. So, and with all the balanced scoring that they had, I mean, if they had more from James Harden, I mean, it might have bounced. It might have made a big difference. And then, Norman Powell is another one. Norman Powell played decent at home, but his game is not traveling the way it should. Honestly, I think Ty Lue might have to think about letting him come back off the bench again. Because if he's going to play 30 plus minutes and only give you like 12 points, I mean, that's not productive enough. It's just not. I mean, it really isn't. And that's the problem with the Clippers right now. You got two of the guys that everybody was giving praise to earlier in the season, like, oh, they're carrying the Clippers and they're doing all this. And, James Harden is the system. And then Norman Powell should have been an all-star and all these things. But, right, you say all those things, but Norman Powell needs to prove why he should have been an all-star now in the playoffs. Prove why you should have been. Play like it. Don't just play good at home. Play good on the road. Play great on the road. And James Harden, he gets all this praise, but, I mean, that's just a piss-poor performance by him. He literally got outscored by damn near everybody on his team that he shouldn't have got outscored by. Bogdanovich struggled this whole series. But Bogdanovich comes up with 18 points in this game. Damn near 20 points himself. You know what I mean? Like Chris Dunn, he struggled last game knocking down some threes. He knocked down quite a few threes last night to make up for what he did the last game. The two players that did not make up for anything, that's not covering their own ground or carrying their own weight, is Norman Powell and James Harden. Point blank period. Norman Powell's getting 30-plus minutes a game. He should be averaging somewhere around 17 to 20 points a game every single night. Every time he plays, he should have 17 to 20 points per game. Pencil it in. James Harden as well. James Harden, you're playing 35, 40 minutes a game. You should have 22 plus points every single game. Because the matchup that James Harden has, who's guarding him between Murray and Christian Brown, and maybe, I don't know, maybe they might switch off at times. He has a matchup that's a lot more favorable than even what Kawhi does. Because Aaron Gordon is a better defender than, Jamal Murray and Christian Brown and guys like that. Aaron Gordon's probably their best defender. So Kawhi has the toughest assignment of who's being guarded, who's guarding him. You have an easier assignment, James Harden. And you're scoring 20 points combined in 2 games. Hell, I mean, they could have kept Paul George for that. They really could have. Not saying they should have kept Paul George, because I don't think they should have, but I mean, he would have came with the same production. I mean, but he's also not a player talking about he's the system either. If you say you're the system, well, damn it, you better show that. And that's just a piss-poor performance back-to-back games by the second best player on the team. And, Kawhi is really just, maintaining. But, even star players, they need help sometime. Like I said, last night, Jokic didn't have the best of games, but Jamal Murray came through with a 40-point game. You gotta have other guys step up at times and make plays. You can't always be the superstar. Superstars have off nights too. They need help. It's a team game to win a championship. It's not one guy to win a championship. Even when Kawhi was on Toronto, he had guys step up in ways where it balanced it out. Even if he didn't score 30, they still had balance. They still played defense. They still understood their assignments. And that's not what he's getting out of this team. If you have a James Harden, he's supposed to have 22 plus points per game with 9 assists. Norman Powell, if he's supposed to be an all-star, which a lot of people anointed him to be and said he was, well, you got to have 17 and 20 points per game. No questions asked. So, I don't know where the Clippers go from here. I think it still can go 7 games. I think the Clippers can possibly find a way to pull out a home game, a home game victory against the Nuggets. But even that's going to be tough at this point, because if Russ keeps playing the way he's playing, which, I think that can, simmer down a little bit. I think he just gives the Denver Nuggets that extra boost. And Jamal Murray has caught fire now. Well, the Clippers are in trouble. They're completely in trouble. So it's a tough uphill battle. If the Clippers can find a way to get it back to Game 7, that puts more pressure, all the pressure on the Denver Nuggets to find a way to win, which would be tough, but it's doable. You know what I'm saying? It's doable for the Clippers to go back to a Game 7 in there and win. It's doable. it's tough, but it's doable. But you got to focus on the next game now. You got to focus on Game 6, and hopefully you can keep your hopes alive and move on, move on to the Game 7, and hopefully, good things can happen. It's going to be a tough game either way in Game 6, and hopefully the Clippers are not mentally deflated by now. Hopefully, but you gotta just hope. That's all you can. That's all you can do at this point, because it's not looking good for the home team.